really good at your job. You can manage a team, you can close a deal, you can work under high amounts of pressure, but you just can't seem to figure out what's going on with your body. And that just doesn't make sense, does it? Because you're not lazy, you're not low on motivation, and it's not because you're dumb or don't have enough knowledge. You've tried eating clean, you've tried fasting, you've tried following your PT that posts their abs all over Instagram, but just none of it has stuck. Now you're stood there in the wardrobe Monday morning, still noticing that your jeans feel tight, or you're just not loving how that dress drapes you like it used to. Maybe you're just thinking, this is how I am now. But here's what you need to hear. It's not that you failed, you were just sold a strategy for someone who does not exist. Someone who has endless amounts of time, endless amounts of motivation. Someone whose body just cooperates with them 24/7. It's not you and it's not me either. That is why I built something different. And let me take you back a minute. 7 years ago, I was 30 kilos heavier working in corporate recruitment. I believed the same lies you've been told, that fat loss requires discipline or motivation 24/7, that if I just cut carbs or push harder, all of my results would just fall into place. So I did that. Monday to Thursday, I'd be on low carbs, horrible breath and feeling like such a diva in the office. But Friday would come, I'd be exhausted, I would have had a busy, stressful week, and then the first thing I would do is get on Deliveroo or go to Domino's and get myself a pizza to make myself feel better. I'd then kid myself into thinking, right, our diet starts again on Monday. And I was on this cycle for years. That same Monday when I'd go into the wardrobe and be like, right, maybe next week this will fit better. And it absolutely crushed me. My problem wasn't willpower. It was the belief that more restriction led to better results. And that would then give me the freedom that I knew I always wanted in clothes. That is the trap, and I lived in that for years. There was a night where I was sat on my bed, staring at the TV, when the reflection goes blank. I had 2 tubs of Pringles either side of me. And I just thought, Andrew, you are a fucking loser. And I can say it with a smile now, but I did not smile at the time. I was not a loser because I was eating Pringles, ready salted, are the best if you know, you know. I was a loser because I've been trying for years after year and not seen the results I knew I really needed. I'd ordered 2XL black Gildan t-shirts because I was never gonna buy the clothes I wanted because I was waiting for myself to be slimmer. I was turning to the side in photos because I hated how I looked next to my friends. I would avoid photos altogether, especially on holiday, even though they were memories with my family. I was good at my job, but I felt like a fraud in my own skin. And that was then affecting how I showed up for myself in work, in meetings. I wasn't closing as many deals in my sales role. I wasn't performing or being as productive as I knew I could be. And the worst part, I thought this was permanent. I thought I was going to be like this forever. You know that feeling? I just thought, I've missed my window now. Absolutely no chance this is going to happen for me. When you just look at yourself in the mirror and you think, I used to look good. I used to feel confident. What happened? That was the life I lived every single day for a decade. But then something shifted. I stopped trying to do everything at once. I just focused on being 1% better each week. I stopped blaming myself for not having enough discipline because my career was very, very important to me and I was excelling in that. So how could I be disciplined all the time? It was not how do I work harder? It was how do I make this strategy work for my life right now? Here's what I realized. All bad decisions with food happen when you're stressed or unorganized. Not because I was weak, but because I had built a system with food that had not aligned with my lifestyle right now. So I flipped this on its head. I started training 3 times a week because an hour and a half is all you need for exercise, especially if you're trying to get toned and feel confident. I stopped reducing carbohydrates and, feeding into that restriction cycle, which meant that if I did have a pizza, every now and again, I allowed myself to have that. Same way if I had client events, I wouldn't beat myself up because I'd gone off plan. I just had a strategy beforehand to make sure I could go there and have a great time and not feel guilty afterwards. But I didn't fix everything overnight. And that's the exact reason why 30 kilos has never come back to my body. But week by week, I started to feel different. I was showing up better for myself in work. Clothes were fitting me how I wanted them to feel. And it all just came together. I wasn't starting again every Monday. I was calm, collected, in control of my fitness journey. And for the first time in years, I felt like the person I knew I needed to be deep down. It was in there, I just had to unlock it. So let me ask you one big question. What if the problem isn't you? What if everything you have tried has just been designed for someone else? Because I see this every week. Women who are incredible at their jobs, they can manage teams, they can close deals, they can grow empires within their own business. But they're exhausted, they're bloated, they're low energy, they're sat down in meetings worrying about their trousers sticking into their stomach, instead of focusing on what really counts, them excelling in their career. And it's not their fault. You don't need no more discipline. You just need a strategy that fits into your lifestyle. This is why I built my AMF framework, broken down into your activity accelerator, your flexible food formula, and your motivational mastery. This was everything I needed that would have stopped me dieting for 10 years. It would have unlocked my confidence sooner. Your activity is not needed hours upon hours in the gym. You simply need an hour and a half a week. Your motivational mastery that allows you to stay energized and disciplined despite the fact that you have work travel, you have corporate events, you have everything trying to pull you away from your routine. And then your flexible food formula. I still want you to enjoy foods you love, not restriction, not cut out carbs, not all these things that the internet is telling you to do. And this is important because these are the skills that you're going to make sure not only you feel confident in clothes, but you maintain them for the next 20 years of your life. Because there's no point losing weight for 3 months. I want you to lose weight for 30 years and never have to have that lingering thought in the back of your head that you don't feel confident in clothes, or you can't take the photo, or you can't book the holiday. If you want to stop restarting on Monday, if you want to stop hiding, stop thinking, okay, this will never be me, you have two options. You can carry on doing what you've always done, spinning your wheels and see how you get on, or you can reach out to me directly through Instagram or through YouTube, and we can create a game plan to map out the entire year ahead to get you feeling the most confident you've ever felt. So much so, we even have a guarantee. If you don't get confident, if you don't lose weight from doing everything we say, I give you all your money back. I'll even send you a takeaway if you're hard work, if you really want one. You are closer than you think. I believe in you, and I was in your situation. You don't need a new strategy. You just need the one that works with your lifestyle. Let's build something amazing together, and let's crush 2026.